Hello, Vintage Stereo Buff back again. Today I have a couple of amps I'd like to show you. A Fosgate PR250 from 1979. I bought this. The other is a 75 watt per channel Special Edition Electronics A275. It's a kind of a no-brand amp built by the same people who built the PPI amps. They built amps for several other companies too. And this is kind of a no-name budget model, I guess, I got from eBay recently. And the next one is my Proton D275 Dynamic Power on Demand amp. I sent this amp to Derek Big D Wiz at oldschoolstereo.com about a year ago for a dyno test. Check it out on his dyno test site. Now back to this punch. One thing I wanted to show you, the differences between these amps and the circuit boards and power supplies. This little Fosgate, it's a Class A/B amp, push-pull. Here we got the bipolar transistors in the power supply. Here, 3 here, 4 over here. And we have 4 outputs, 2 for each side. They're 2N6487 and 2N6490 output transistors. There are 4 of them. This amp has 2 2200 microfarad caps on it and one 2200 filter cap for that. Now this amp, Special Edition Electronics, it's a 75 watt per channel board, this one. But look at this, it has one large capacitor. I was thinking it was maybe 2200 because of the size, but I noticed on doing research on some websites that the PPI branded 2075s like this have a blue board instead of this color, and they have a 1000 microfarad here, and then they use 2 1000 microfarad capacitors just like the one that was here in these 2 spaces. But I can't see underneath this one to see what it is, and I don't want to take it loose, but I'm assuming it's a 1000 microfarad too, and these 2 here are only 470 microfarads, and from others I've seen on the internet, they have exactly the same on this too. I think the difference in these capacitors is that the MOSFET, the ones that have the MOSFET power supply capacitors, I think they use the larger caps here. Now, this has 8 output transistors, 75 watt amp, 8 output transistors, and the numbers on these are 2N6488. These were 2N6487, and the ones in here were 2N6490, and the other ones in here are 2N6491. So these are very similar bipolar transistors. They're just, I guess, a slight one number off, a slightly larger model, I guess. I'm not sure. What amazes me is that this is supposed to put out so much power and has no caps to speak of. I guess I don't understand the power supply topology here. I assumed that, you know, in a MOSFET design it might be different. They might not need all that much capacitance, but I don't know. I'd like somebody to explain that to me. And these are 2200 on here, the large ones. Now look at this. There's a Proton. Proton D275. Look at this. The Fosgate has two 2200s here. 25 volt. This has that one capacitor. This one here, look at these fuckers. These capacitors here are 10,000 microfarads each. These two capacitors here, these are the capacitors for the low power circuit. These capacitors are 2200 each. These small capacitors are the same size as the large capacitors here. Only these are 50 volt instead of 25 volt. 10,000, so we have 20,000 and 4,400. So we have 24,400 microfarads of capacitance here. 24,000. This thing, we got about 1,000. And this one here, 4,400. Perplexing to me. But at any rate, I know this one stomps. I don't know how this one can. But I've hooked it up and played with it, and it seems to have quite a bit of power. I'm going to see if I can get Derek at oldschoolstereo.com to dyno this one for me, so I can find out more about it. And I guess after I do that, I'll get back to you. Okay, oldschoolstereo.com out.